r/AskReddit by Redmond Dts. What's the craziest thing that has happened at your work Christmas party? The assistant manager had a few, and she did a striptease to the Shrek soundtrack. One year, the owner punched one of the salesmen in the face in the middle of the party, and they both rolled around on the floor, fighting for a good minute. Most holiday parties are boring, but this one was fun. Owner jumped on the bar of our brewery and took her top off, dancing to ICP. Later banged two guys in the back office while her husband played Jenga and nursed his vape. They had layoffs immediately after the potluck. The gift card prizes to be given to the first and second prize winners of the cookie contest were taken off the prize present table by an executive, as both the first and second place winners were part of the group being laid off. My first job was at a shipyard. The Christmas parties were always beer-filled and raucous. During one party, two people who hated each other immensely got stinking drunk. One was 5 foot 160 pounds. Call him small guy. The other was a 6 foot 300 pound weightlifter with a very nasty attitude. Big guy. Near the end of the party, small guy decides to walk up behind big guy and piss down his leg. Big guy was totally oblivious to what was happening, and so the piss was loosed upon him. Their two supervisors and I are having a conversation, which suddenly stops as both of them see what small guy is doing. We held our breath to see what big guy would do. He was so drunk as to be oblivious to what happened. The supervisors talk quickly to each other, out of my earshot. Small guy's supervisor rushes to small guy and ushers him out of the room at light speed. Big guy's supervisor quietly and surreptitiously spills a beer on the floor and places the bottle at big guy's feet. He tells big guy he must have spilled a beer on himself that was on a table near where he was standing, and told him to change his clothes. Our lockers with coveralls were nearby and he would mop up the mess. Big guy thanks his supervisor and goes to change without a question. No one but we three saw what happened, so damage was contained. When I was leaving, both of the supervisors came over to me and asked if I had seen what transpired. I told them I had. Both swore me to absolute secrecy because big guy would twist off small guy's head, then come after the supervisors. I told them I didn't want him coming after me either. He was a nasty piece of work, so I told them no problem. The boss and an employee snuck off to the bathroom. While in there, broke the handicap rail off the wall. Boss's wife showed up, went into the bathroom to compose herself after hearing what had just transpired, then proceeded to run out of the bathroom with said handrail and chase the boss around the sales floor with it. 10 out of 10 party. One year I was asked if I'd be willing to dress up as Santa for our holiday party. I didn't think I was going to be very convincing, but reluctantly agreed. Day of the party, where we're all hanging out in the warehouse, eating cookies and drinking coffee and having breakfast, and I told the few people I was sitting with that I had to go outside and make a call. I really went to go change into my Santa costume. I came back yelling ho 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 as loud as I could, put on my best jolly old man voice, drew names out of hat, handed out prizes, took pictures with staff, ate cookies, then said I had to go as my sleigh was double parked. Came back in after changing, and the amount of people that legitimately thought I missed Santa was very surprising. People I stood next to and took pictures with were telling me how I missed out. Like, grown-ass adults. I couldn't believe it. At first I thought people were just being nice or just joshing me, but throughout the day, people kept asking who Santa was and telling me how bummed I must be for missing it. One of the girls finally put 2 and 2 together when she asked, "Weren't you there for breakfast?" And I said, "Yeah, I was sitting with so and so," and she asked where I went, and I said I went outside to take a call and didn't realize I was out there for so long, and that by the time I came back in, Santa was gone, and she just gave me suspicious eyes, and I winked at her and left it at that. Shit was crazy. More than a decade ago, there was a rumor that 2 of my co-workers hooked up in a bathroom. Regardless of whether that was true or not, the joke was on all of us, because they later got married and had 2 wonderful children. Okay, full disclosure, this wasn't at my Christmas party, but I did learn about it because of my job. At this certain small business, the Christmas party turned into an orgy. Every male worker in the office had sex with the only female worker. She got pregnant and turned to the child support office, where I worked, for help establishing paternity and child support. The list of putative fathers was long. We tested them one by one, excluded. Finally found the daddy, the company owner. Good job, little one, your daddy is the richest guy in the lot. Oh, and they all still work together. President of the company pulled a "don't you know who I am" when a girl rejected his advances asking to dance. She walked over to the head of HR, who was also at the party, and explained what happened. Head of HR said she was going to arrange a meeting Monday morning. President stepped outside and shot himself in his car. Not the ending I expected. Small company, one of the sales knobs got really shit-faced and starting hitting on the CFO's wife. Plot twist, all 3 went back to their hotel room together. The rumors about that were still swirling around when I left 2 years later. A co-worker introduced his wife to one of the other women in the office. Said wife introduced herself as the wife of the guy you've been fucking. Epic introduction, and how he knew he was getting divorced shortly thereafter. Older guy had a heart attack and dropped dead. Really killed the vibe. Sales guy brought a girl he met on Tinder. First date, never met her before. The party was at a pretty nice venue. She got absolutely wasted, threw up all over the bathroom, and had to be carried out of the venue. I met my future boss while photocopying my ass. Said boss later made out with intern. Someone else broke the photocopier while copying own ass and was badly cut. My wife sucker punched our shop manager cause he was drunk and getting handsy. She's my pampuve. Old job, about 15 years ago, someone took a shit in the boss's office in the garbage can. Had a big party in a posh hotel, but it then came out that work had a $250 cleanup bill because someone took a shit in the foyer. There were a few rumors as to who was the suspected culprit, but no proof, until one day a video appeared of the CCTV footage of a colleague stumbling out of the party room, stopping, unzipping, and just letting loose in front of horrified staff too shocked to stop him in time. It was also exactly who everyone expected it to be as well. Last year I quit my job right before the Christmas party, but was invited to go anyways. I was leaving on what I thought were good terms, so I decided to go. Big mistake. My old co-workers were super excited to see me again, and we had a fantastic time. My old boss, not so much. He barely spoke to me the entire time. Towards the end of the night, I went to his table to thank him for everything before I leave. He was sitting with his wife and a couple other managers. Before I even start talking, he looks at me with disdain and tells me he knows how much I hate him. Side note, he was extremely drunk. As I'm trying to politely console him or get to the point of why I came up, his wife interjects. She starts screaming how my ex-boss wants to fuck me and gets up and leaves. At that point I don't even say anything, I just left too. Never spoke to them again. I had a few drinks in me and asked the CEO's wife how high on weed she was. Got called into the CEO's office Monday. He was a great boss. Asked me what I was thinking. And then explained they were both stoned and he didn't know it was that obvious. One of the company executives ending up kissing a member of his sales team. While he was kissing her, another woman who was also in his team grabbed the girl off of him because she clearly liked him, even though she had a boyfriend, and they had a fight in the middle of the dance floor. The next day, none of them were in the office. The girl who started the fight was told she either had to resign or be fired. She opted to resign out of embarrassment. You know, I think sometimes American parties should be more like Japanese after work drinking parties. You can do pretty much anything and say anything, and in the morning it's forgiven and forgotten because everyone uses it to drink and blow off steam. It just seems like sometimes these things shouldn't end up in firings. I worked for Enterprise Car Rental in Southern California after college in the early 2000s. They would rent out the Biltmore Los Angeles hotel, and all the employees from San Diego and Los Angeles would go. Thousands of people were at this party. We were in the main lobby of the hotel around 11 PM and heard screaming. Here comes some dude, butt-ass naked, sprinting through the lobby at full speed, swerves, and dives into the largest Christmas tree they had in the lobby, completely taking everything out. Gets up and runs towards the elevators. It was quite the scene. I'll never forget it. One of our managers was so incensed that only for the first hour was booze covered by the corporate tab. Beer and wine was covered for the whole party, but this Christmas event was for a brewery. Manager was all, "I don't want free beer, I want booze." Decided that his best move was to load up on booze in the 1 hour. Double shot after double shot is some form of protest. The protest being that the rule promoted dangerous drinking behavior. He got carted out about 15 minutes after the hour was up, around 7 PM. Me, the manager was me. We had a guy bring a prostitute as his +1. It was extremely depressing, since the dude was so incredibly awkward, and this lady was actually having a lot of fun, and talking a bit too much to all of us, which is what gave it away. Co-worker had be carried like Jesus to the cross after emptying a bottle of cider. Non-alcoholic cider. We told him it wasn't alcoholic, and he still acted drunk. Mother sucker got drunk off a placebo effect. I'm disappointed that there are 7 comments here already, and no one has written out a long post that ends up just being the plot to Die Hard. That's all folks. Thank you for watching. If you like videos like this one, why not like and subscribe for more? Have a nice evening.